The story opens in a city plagued by a deadly virus known as rage. This virus spreads like wildfire, transforming those infected into ravenous zombies. These zombies have an insatiable appetite for human flesh, and they mercilessly hunt down and devour anyone in their path. In the midst of this apocalyptic chaos, we find a small group of survivors seeking refuge in a nondescript house. Within this sanctuary are 6 individuals, each grappling with the harsh reality of a world overrun by the infected. Among these survivors is Don, a man consumed by anxiety and guilt. He is a father who made a heart-wrenching decision in the face of the impending crisis. He sent his beloved children on a school trip to France, believing it would keep them safe from the impending outbreak. Little did he know that the virus, the dreaded rage, would soon ravage their home city of Britain. Inside the safe haven, the survivors live in darkness to avoid detection by the ravenous zombies outside. A tense silence permeates the air, a silence born of fear and the instinct for self-preservation. Suddenly, a desperate and frenzied pounding reverberates through the house. A voice pleads for entry, beseeching the survivors to open the door and save them. This voice belongs to a young boy, no older than 10, who finds himself in a life-or-death predicament. Moved by compassion and maternal instincts, Alice, one of the survivors, passionately urges the group to open the door and rescue the child. Despite the inherent danger, she believes that extending a lifeline to this young soul is the right thing to do. As the door swings open, an intense burst of daylight floods the once shadowed interior of the house. The survivors, temporarily blinded by the sudden brightness, lay eyes on the boy for the first time. It becomes clear that it's daytime outside, a detail they had missed while trying to remain hidden from the zombies. The boy is welcomed into the sanctuary, and a meal is hastily prepared for him. In the midst of their cautious optimism, the boy begins to recount his harrowing ordeal. His parents, now infected and turned into zombies, relentlessly pursue him, driven by an insatiable hunger for his flesh. The survivors listen in stunned silence, comprehending the gravity of the impending threat. Their conversation is abruptly interrupted by one of the survivors, a young girl who can no longer contain her fear. She peers outside, straining her senses to detect any signs of the approaching zombie horde. In the distance, she discerns the faint but unmistakable sounds of zombies drawing nearer. In a sudden and alarming turn of events, a lone zombie, faster and more determined than the rest, bursts forth and seizes the boy. The immediate vicinity becomes swarmed with zombies, all driven by an insatiable hunger. Unable to witness the boy's imminent demise, Alice, motivated by her maternal instinct, courageously rushes to protect him. Dawn, meanwhile, strives to dissuade her, urging her to leave the child behind and focus on saving herself. But Alice remains unwavering in her determination to save the young boy. Outside the house, the elderly couple, who had sought refuge in a separate dwelling, also falls prey to the relentless zombies, and their sanctuary is overrun. The heart-wrenching decision to leave his wife torments Don. He is haunted by the choice he made to save himself, while Alice faced the terrifying horde of zombies alone. A month later, the world has transformed. The once rampant zombie population is dwindling as they succumb to starvation. An air of melancholic desolation settles upon the decimated city. The military has assumed control, working tirelessly to restore order. Within this grim new reality, we encounter Don, who miraculously survived the initial outbreak. He has been working with the military in the safety of a designated zone. His life is consumed by this new existence. 6 months have passed since the outbreak, and there is a glimmer of hope. The remaining zombies are now a rarity, their numbers a fraction of what they once were. A semblance of normalcy is on the horizon, though strict safety protocols remain in place. Survivors who managed to cling to life in the wake of the pandemic are being repatriated to their homes, though they must remain within designated safe zones. In the midst of this fragile recovery, a dedicated doctor takes on the monumental task of studying the rage virus. This intrepid scientist delves into the intricacies of the virus, probing for insights that may help in the ongoing battle against the infected. The doctor's focus is on a select group of survivors, including Don's children, who have exhibited unique immunity to the virus. She subjects Don's son to a battery of tests, and her findings reveal a startling anomaly. His eyes display 2 distinct colors, a genetic quirk that indicates partial immunity. When questioned about this peculiar trait, Don's son reveals that his mother, Alice, had blue eyes. Emotions run high as Don is reunited with his children. He had remained within the confines of the safe zone, working alongside the military in their efforts to restore order. However, the reunion is bittersweet, as the truth about Alice's fate comes to light. Don had long believed that his wife had perished, that she had been claimed by the virus, and that there was no hope of recovery. Yet, here she stands, alive and well, a living enigma in the midst of a world reshaped by the virus. As Don approaches Alice, the air is laden with trepidation. His feelings are a whirlwind of relief, guilt, and disbelief. He is elated by her presence, but also haunted by the knowledge of how he had left her behind to her fate in the clutches of the zombies. Their reunion is charged with emotion, but it is not the joyful homecoming Don had envisioned.